Did a very, very good job, not only against Dimitri, but also against Yang Yong-sik, moving very, very fast. And you mentioned that before. This short game is really on a very, very high level. And I'm sure Fan Zhendong will be aware that he has to open the game, that he has to flick the game, that he has to avoid not only playing 100% short. But we have to wait and see. I saw there on his knee some taping, so hopefully Fan Zhendong is having not big trouble with his knee. Because I didn't see that yesterday.
Right, this is rare. You also have to remember we're dealing with a 20-year-old here. We do see it from time to time, even teenagers wearing knee braces, but ideally for their career, you know, they're as healthy as can be for the starting years at least. Wow, there's the backhand. Such a short stroke, so aggressive and still down the line.
I think this is one of the extra qualities of Fan Zhendong, to keep up with the backhand, but also being able to change the direction very, very fast. And this ball down the line, it's not possible for YOSHIDA Masaki to reach.
Is all net post, the loudest sound you could imagine, but look at these angles. I mean, Yoshida surprising Fan Zhendong with the down the line shot. There it is right on the corner. And then the hooking forehand once again. Fan Zhendong net roller on that ball.
Was a bit too far away. Trying to spin this ball really much up.
Now we talked about the aggressive short game and the touch game as well, but Yoshida took the first 2 serves for flips. Let's see if he can do the same thing here. The indecision, he hesitates a little bit at the back edge of the table, and that's a very difficult place to be when you're forced to try and keep it short. I guess he's got to decide to either push long and get into the rally. Wow.
That's classic style what you usually shouldn't do against the Chinese. You play short with them, and then you open up with a spin down, not down the line, but diagonal. This counter spin, none of the top Chinese will miss. And Fan Zhendong really showed that he will also not miss, but even accelerate on the softer topspin of Yoshida. Again, whenever Yoshida will start like this with a little bit spinny topspin, that it's not staying low, but like jumping up high, that's easy prey for Fan Zhendong. He will always follow up, and to my point of view, not that often I see him missing these kind of counter spins.
Nice change of pace from Yoshida there. Yeah, and you're right about those heavy spin shots. I mean, against many of the players in the tournament so far, if Yoshida puts enough spin on it, it will cause some trouble, but Fan Zhendong seems so comfortable closing the racket and countering back. And it's not like he's flat hitting it, he's still spinning the ball.
And he has problems. That's also actually he had yesterday against Dmitry Ovtcharov. Judging the ball in the beginning at least, when the ball is dropping out half long, when the ball stays short. But at the end he found this solution against Dmitry Ovtcharov, so we'll see.
Oh, back edge of the table for Yoshida. You know, I saw Dmitry Ovtcharov lobbing to him yesterday, and I couldn't believe how much power, how much speed on the racket of Yoshida there was. But a few shots early in this rally, he played deep to the backhand to drive Fan Zhendong off the table. And just recently, it was actually in the trials with the top 12 men in China that I saw Fan Zhendong lobbing for the first time. And he's done it out here on many occasions so far. Even though he misses that shot, all the weight is forward and he's aggressively countering. I think someone once said Fan Zhendong only has one mode, explode. And while he does clearly have touch, winning the shot of the year in 2016 with the around the net, under the net clamp touch shot, I mean, he's got the soft hands, but whenever he can be aggressive, he doesn't hesitate. Little shovel serve, but it's that finishing backhand that's just different than any ball. I think talking to Alvaro Robles, last night at dinner, he said it's just a completely different trajectory. He played Fan Zhendong yesterday, and it was 4 straight games for Fan Zhendong, despite 2 of them being quite close for Robles. He said it's just the timing is different, the bounce of the ball, the kick, and that is something partially equipment, partially technique.
And it's not only, as we had, for example, Zhang Yike. If you speak to the players meeting Zhang Yike, they play back and with him. They say, okay, he's not playing that fast, but really spinny. And if you speak to the players, they're meeting Van der Dongen and say, okay, this guy is not only playing fast, but fast and spinny. So it's probably the next gear, the next step after Zhang Yike with the backhand.
Oh, Zhang Yike 2.0. He's the upgrade.
This is what I would call offside then.
Right. And as far as playing in combinations, you have to be pretty confident that you've handcuffed or locked your opponent into a specific shot. If you turn the corner too early, Zhendong is going to burn you.
5-10.
So 5 game points for Zhendong to take the first. Heavy underspin on the serve. I don't know if anything can be as heavy as that stomp, though. It's a fierce, aggressive stomp.
Actually, Yoshida is known for doing like a very good service variation. He has also this long kick service that he was trying as attacking Van der Dongen before.
In the short game, the forehand flip, quite steady. Talking about how Ma Long and just a few others do it well consistently.
For sure, he's much better than his world ranking right now. For sure, he will come up. And I believe after the wins against Yang Yong-sik and Dmitry Ovtcharov, doesn't matter about the results against Van der Dongen, he will be for sure a top 50 player.
Oh, makes a tough one. Moving back on the forehand side, but when given time for the backhand loop, doesn't connect. Sometimes it's tough to play the ball from out in front, coming back into the table. You know, I was curious to hear your history. I don't see Masaki Yoshida on the World Tour very often, but I've seen him just a few times, and I've been quite impressed in both performances. Where do you see him playing the most? League play?
Well, before he was playing quite some time in Germany, and he's belonging to this generation like Yoshimura, who was also getting through the school, for example, who was second and first division in Germany. So these players, they come in a very young age to Germany. They learn some lesson to play abroad. Then they go back to Japan, where they are then next step. Also, we have the coach of Jun Mitsutani, who is now also for Japan national team, Chuyan Singh, who is doing like a table tennis school in his city in Frickenhausen, where he will gather lots of Japanese players to come to play in Germany, to practice in Germany together with him. And Yoshida is one of these products, and well, for sure he's upcoming, and yeah, well, he's competing on a very, very high level. Also on this tournament in Qatar, he's doing for sure his best performance so far.
Level.
Very good, very good. This is outstanding. If you see this switch of risk, and usually you would expect everybody to get this backhand banana into the backhand side of Yoshida, but instead of that, Van der Dongen is able to use the wrist in that way that he's putting this ball into deep forehand, and you didn't even show a sign of reaction.
Right. I was thinking the same thing. I mean, you could see from where Yoshida was standing that he was clearly set up for the ball to the backhand corner. Yeah, and for Zhendong, nothing. No problem.
Yep.
2-1.
You know, you talked about Maharu Yoshimura, and I think for me, Yoshimura at the same time as Yuya Oshima. That's interesting. We don't see that too often. Climbing back into the umpire's booth. But yeah, as far as that generation of Japanese players, 22 years old, we've got a lot of younger players right now. Of course, all eyes on Tomokazu Harimoto. But the 22-year-old, there's still plenty of years ahead of him to be quite strong. We see players peaking sometimes around 26, 27.
Actually, especially in Europe, most of the time the top players, they start to reach their peak between 25 and 30, and you just put, like, for example, Timo Boll or Werner Schlager, they received their biggest results of the career. For example, Werner Schlager, 2003, he was 31. Timo Boll, his semi-final in Rotterdam in the men's single, also when he was 31. And they need a little bit more time in Europe. In Japan, I think the system, as is in China, it's a little bit easier with the school, and they are open to practice harder altogether. And that's the goal we have to set up also in Europe, to have the chance to practice earlier in combination with school.
Right, talking to the players on the World Tour, that's the sense that I get as well, that the development happens much later in Europe because the school is priority and you can't really become a professional until later. But a lot of these guys are, you know, Asuka Sakai just came back. He's been focusing a little bit on school, but Koki Niwa's been in school, and it's not really. It's like you're at school on paper, but you're not really at school.
4-3.
And this is one of the reasons Koki Niwa, I mean, around 14 years old, is playing on the international stage so well, and for Harimoto and others, and of course Fan Zhendong in China. But yeah, definitely the peak in the arc of who plays until what age is quite different in Asia and Europe.
I mean, in some nations, it's they're a little bit open to have more chance for practicing, but most of the time you really have to get these things together, and no way to concentrate only on sport. You always have to add it up on the school.
Well, right now, the younger of the two players, the 20-year-old in blue, Fan Zhendong, driving Yoshida off the table. Look at this, fools him completely. Starts to hop a little bit to the forehand side, plays it even deeper to the backhand than before.
Again, this short, he's doing very, very well. The second time short to the forehand side.
Yoshida now with 4 points.
Let 4-5.
Back edge of the table, a bit of a break. You know, we saw early on in this match a few of those higher arcing spinny balls, and Fan Zhendong's just so consistent. So a little bit of an escape there for Yoshida.
And to be honest, that ball saved Yoshida. I'm sure this would have been a big counter loop again from Fan Zhendong.
Right.
Let 5-all.
When we talk about physical fitness, I mean, this ball is way out of reach. It's an uncomfortable ball, even for Fan Zhendong, but still the quality of shot he gets without his legs under him on the run really keeps the pressure on.
And then doing the next step in keeping the body tension together as fast as possible and not losing the control.
Right, he recovers so quickly. Yep. And I think this is one of many reasons he can hit so many cannons in a row, is that he does regroup and regather right after the shots so quickly. It's funny, you see pictures of Fan Zhendong leaping and just like these leapfrog poses and all sort of off balance, but he recovers so fast. It's just amazing.
And still, that maybe is one of the differences if you compare Fan Zhendong and Ma Long. Ma Long in this way, I think, is still a bit superior. But this is unbelievable. This control and this ball down the line. It was not even down the line. It was even with side spin out. We can probably see now in slow motion. I cannot believe this is really incredible. Even accelerated, not only using the power of Yoshida.
It's another example. See how low he gets? A lot of people would be disoriented getting that low and having to come back up. I mean, we talk about how movement is not just side to side, but in and out. In this case, up and down as well. And still, Fan Zhendong is just, he never seems disoriented out there. Very well calibrated.
Good.
Full stroke there, gets the racket low, right at the back of the table too, but he was confident he'd have the full swing. That's not an easy touch ball either. He was at the back of the table when he made that touch shot, but to keep it so soft.
And I was already thinking the ball was dropping down low, but he really hit it and lifted and spin it, so the ball had this extra acceleration at the end. It was not like a direct fast shot, but a very, very spinny shot there.
6-10.
So now 4 game points for Fan Zhendong on the receive.
7-10.
I really like what I'm seeing from Yoshida, win or lose. I mean, he's playing gutsy. He doesn't seem phased. He seems like he understands what he has to do and is just fearlessly going for it, but very mindfully as well. Oh my goodness! What a backhand rocket from Yoshida, and it comes back even faster. Fan Zhendong is like, yeah, I see your backhand, and I raise you this backhand. It didn't even look like he moved. It looked like he was just standing there from that replay, just like the 1-inch punch of Bruce Lee.
This was unbelievable. This was really unbelievable. And it was not only one time. I mean, maybe this was the most spectacular shot down the line, but he did it 2 or 3 times. So it's really nearly normal. Check this, unbelievable, just like in the corner.
He was a statue. His body was barely even moving from that overhead shot. You could see it was like he just held his arm out in front and was just like pop, pop, and the ball was gone.
But still, it was coming forearm and the wrist together. And this, if this works together, it's acceleration and spin. And this is ending up like down the line and no chance for even a little bit of reaction of Yoshida.
Xiao Zhan in the corner, coaching Fan Zhendong. Went to see Zhang Jike in the hospital. A lot of people were excited to see him coming back after his ankle injury, I believe, on the reality show in China. Comes back, has a decently strong, well, quite a strong start against the Apollonia.
Yep.
Despite having a fever, but then yesterday had to exit the tournament, had to forfeit the match. It's sort of a shame considering, you know, what we've seen of him in training and how excited and fired up he was to come back after a long time absent.
So all the best from here.
One love.
I'm sure he will be back.
Right, that is the trend. Rises from the ashes.
Oh, what is happening here? That's a backhand mistake. Uncommon for Fan Zhendong.
There's too many of these. And the deafening screams of the fans for Fan Zhendong, Xiao Pang, the top of the screen. Little Fatty, they call him in China.
1-2.
Something, they have also a kind of a nickname from Liang Jiankung, I think. It's something similar.
Like
bit
Big
this.
Fatty,
yeah, like
essentially.
something like this, yeah.
He's the upgraded version. It's interesting how culturally certain terms are endearing in certain places, and in others you might get slapped.
Yeah. Whoa. This is again unbelievable because this service I think was good already. The answer of Yoshida was better. But then again, to have that much stability, you see, it's not only using the power, but accelerating himself.
So the first shot in the rally, we've seen many times Yoshida has made such impressive receives. We can see why it would cause someone like Dima or many players in the world a lot of trouble. But Fan Zhendong is so confident to counter it back. I mean, it's not a passive block. This would force most players into a more submissive, passive game. Fan Zhendong not phased at all, counterattacks and is ready to play in combination with several attacks in a row.
This is unbelievable. Really good. And actually, it's not unbelievable. It seemed to be just normal for Fan Zhendong meanwhile.
Right, he's setting the standard here. The wrist, he just is able, it's almost like a fast twitch muscle. He just...
3-4.
This actually, that reminds me a bit of Dima as well with the backhand. A
Yeah.
very short stroke, but generates so much power.
Good.
4-all.
Ambitious play again. Now this time we see a little bit more of a roundabout spin shot from Fan Zhendong rather than that punch. A little bit more tucked in like a banana from the back of the table.
And this time the ball jumped a bit higher, giving Yoshida the chance to come up with a forehand topspin. To be honest, I'm still a little bit sad that I don't see here Fan Zhendong with Dmitry Ovtcharov. Would be for the
5-4.
German team, of course, interesting to see before Düsseldorf this match where he will be facing Fan Zhendong.
Well, yeah, I think World Tour Grand Finals, that was the best I'd seen Dima play. That match could have gone either way.
Ooh, very good.
4-6.
But one more time, lots of credit to Yoshida, who did a very, very good job throughout this tournament so far.
And also Fan Zhendong, even with his feet in the air, it seems like when he's on the run, he doesn't have to have anything. He knows how to use and transfer his weight so well. Just everything is working together. Oh, come on. He's got it all. He's got the touch. He chops from down near the ground behind the table. This shot, Masaki Yoshida makes a ball behind Fan Zhendong, completely cross-court. Fan Zhendong's already there, just like he's having a picnic. Just scoops it up. Yeah, take this one. Give me a minute to get ready for another attack. I'll just give you a chance here with this chop first.
Did I say he's not moving that good? Forget about it. Very nice footwork there.
8-4. Eight, 4.
Hit
9,
him in
4.
the shirt. Nope. What happened there?
Think net out.
Gotcha.
4,
Fan
10.
Zhendong. I mean, what more can we say, right? He's just consistently bread and butter. That backhand can go anywhere on the table.
And very often down the line, and that gives the opponent less time. And with this power and this spin, no time to react at all for Yoshida.
And the other side of the table, right down the line. Fearless play. It's almost like you imagine if Yoshida brought that ball back cross-court, Fan Zhendong would have been there.
I would bet on that, 100%. He would have been everywhere. I'm just like waiting. This is the next step. He's switching to the left hand and followed with a counter spin with left.
Yeah, no, I just, yeah. For me, Fan Zhendong could be, I'm concerned that he's behind me in the commentator's booth right now. I see him on screen, but maybe in a moment, just like the flicker, you know, the frame rate, maybe he's here. Who knows? Now, if you're curious about the world rankings, I know there's going to be 2018, they're going to introduce some new world ranking systems to encourage players, the best players in the world, to show up on the world tour regularly. But Ma Long right now is steps ahead of Fan Zhendong. Even if Fan Zhendong wins this tournament, and hypothetically Ma Long were eliminated in the next round, it'd still be a ways to go before Fan Zhendong becomes world number 1.
I'm really looking forward to these World Championships in Düsseldorf. So to see if Fan Zhendong can compete like this, can play on that level, for sure he's one of the favorites for gold.
Trying to remember where his tournament ended in 2015 in Suzhou.
Love 1.
In semi-final, he
Against
lost to
Ma
Ma
Long.
Long.
Makes sense?
He beat in quarterfinal T-Mobile.
Ah, there we go. I remember that match. Good match.
It was a good match, yeah, definitely.
2, love.
All over, hopping around, picks where he wants.
And feels also not stressed. I mean, so calm, this extra step, accelerating with forehand. He would have been ready for the backhand after, for sure.
This shot is too pretty. The full swing from down below the table. And when we talked, we got the timeout here for Yoshida. We talked earlier about how the ball drops, and sometimes for Europeans playing this ball, they take it a little bit later. It appears that he takes this ball quite late, but it's almost like he drives it forward still over the net.
Exactly. I mean, one part is, of course, the technique, that he's not only lifting the ball up, but he has really the mixture between up and in front. And for sure, also, one other thing is the Chinese rubber, that is like giving a little bit the grippier surface that gets these balls a little bit easier. So that's a combination, but Zhendong also is really on an unbelievable high level. It's outstanding what he's playing here.
Right. And if you talk to somebody, I don't know if you can hear anything right now. Maybe we'll give it a minute. Talking about the just in case you were dozing off for a moment, just keeping you in check here. Yeah, the open face of the racket with the Chinese rubber. Seems like they can take this ball from down low. The arc of the ball.
It's a little bit a question of trajectory, the way how the trajectory is produced, and there's always a different trajectory to different rubbers. Very good. Very good also the way to turn around after this fast backhand, to turn around directly. Really nice acceleration, and you see how he's moving towards the ball. And actually, even if Yoshida would have come to this counter spin, I think Zhendong would have been also there.
4-2.
Feels a little bit at this moment as Zhendong is the heavyweight and Yoshida a bit too light altogether.
4-2.
I think it was the second to last point before I had to take off the headphones for a moment that Yoshida, even though he lost the point, I think he's playing smart strategy. Here he commits a little bit early to coming in for the banana. Gets burned on the backhand side. Back edge for Zhendong.
2-6.
But again, this spinny topspin stays very, very low. Maybe we see here in slow motion one more time. And it's not that easy. See how low the ball is there. Not that easy to go on a counter spin on that. That's why Yoshida just lifted that ball.
2-7.
Too high quality, nearly in each shot. And of course, it's starting, we have to remember this, with some backhand down the lines that were really remarkable, where he really took some extra power into the ball.
8-3.
Now losing a bit of concentration here, Zhendong.
Right, we heard a little bit of frustration. It's sort of rare to hear him do a especially with the score the way it is right now, 3-0. But again, it's just that focus, right? You've got Lu Guoliang in your head and on your shoulder, reminding you that you're not fighting hard enough. Where's the spirit? And you come out here if you're up 3-0 and you're up 8-3.
And I like this saying, your legs on your feet are moving behind you. That's how they translate it in German.
3-10.
Now, this would be a great time for Masaki Yoshida to give an exhibition point here with Zhendong. He's had an incredible tournament. Let's see. And it is not. No exhibition point at all. Zhendong 11-3, the most dominant game. And my goodness, the world has been waiting to see this guy take the top spot. But Ma Long just isn't letting him yet. Either way, he's going to be continuing on to the men's singles semifinals in this tournament.
Yeah, and definitely Zhendong did a very, very fine performance. Also, I think it will be very interesting to see how he will compete to his maybe Chinese colleagues, because they will give him a different way of service and return. And Yoshida, lots of credit going to him from my point of view, beating Yang Yong-sik and